Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the NRL 2020 Grand Final review, where we saw the Melbourne Storm win the 2020 Grand Final, defeating the Penrith Panthers 26 points to 20. They led 26-0 at one point, and we all thought Melbourne were going to win by 40 to 50. But the young Penrith side, they came back into it, and they just fell short at the end. At the end of the game, mate, I thought Penrith were going to win. It was 13-11. I thought we were going to go to Golden Point like the Cowboys Broncos in 2015. But what'd you think of the game, mate? What a game of footy. Second half was good. It
was all Melbourne for like 50 minutes, and Penrith came out of nowhere with some good momentum.
Yeah, that's right.
Played really well towards the end of the game, but the class of Pappenhausen, Jerome Hughes, Smith.
Yeah, Jerome Hughes was good.
Too good.
Christian Welch.
Felice Caprici had a good game as well.
Yeah, he was solid. Yeah, look, I thought Melbourne, the start, it won in the game again. Now, obviously, we were there last week in the preliminary final between Melbourne and Canberra, and obviously Melbourne got out to a great start of 24-0, and I think Canberra bombed about 5 tries, and
Panthers bombed a few
bombed a few tries tonight.
Execute like the Storm.
The Panthers executed better than the Raiders did last week, and they nearly stole it in the end. But I wouldn't say it was a fantastic grand final. I thought the second half was a lot better, but the first half, honestly, it was a really bad first half. Penrith missed the start really poorly. Melbourne were clinical early on, but once Penrith got some momentum, they were able to find points, and we'll get to some of the tries, like the one that Brian Toto scored that should not have been allowed. But
yeah,
so obviously the game started off. Panthers kicked off early. I wrote down some notes, guys, so I wouldn't forget. They kicked off. Melbourne knocked on to kick off. And Penrith failed to score points in, and Melbourne scored the first try.
That's what they needed to do, but they
just had a car back on the inside for Olam. He scored the first try. Got me the multi, the first try, so that was a good $95 win. Melbourne up 6-0 at that point. And then, the no try to Josh Mansell pretty much 5 minutes after that, where there was an obstruction that Brenko Lee went through on Crichton went through,
tough one,
and Brenko Lee made the defensive decision, but they called obstruction. I thought that was a pretty tough call. What about you?
Yeah,
that should have been a try. That should have been a try to Mansell. But
strange calls both ways.
Anyway, Melbourne get down the other end. An accidental offside. Melbourne kick a penalty goal to go up 8 points to 0. Then there was another penalty goal there from a cheap shot from Fisher Harris on Christian Welch, which was a pretty dog shot. There's no need for it. Melbourne were up 10-0 at that point. And then this here, right? Nathan Cleary throws a pass.
That was a shit.
Oh, boy. Suliasi Vunivalu with the intercept, runs about 90 metres. He falls on the ground.
He threw a Hayden Noddy.
Nathan Cleary throws an intercept. Suliasi Vunivalu picks it up, runs fucking 85 metres.
Yeah.
He falls on the ground, gets up and goes, scores, 16-0 Melbourne. It's looking bad for Penrith. And then after that, what happened then? 2 minutes to half time, there was a 6 again that was supposed to go to Penrith, but then the dumbass Jared Sutton changed his mind, pulled the leg, and they called it back for a penalty.
You can't do that, especially in grand final.
It was so pathetic, and then I think
wasn't the right call.
Melbourne had the ball, and then they scored with Cameron Smith. Crossout knocked the ball out of Cameron Smith's hands. Smith picks it up and scores. Melbourne go out to 20-0, then I think it's 22-0. At that point, we're at half time, 22-0 the Storm, and we're thinking
50-0.
It's gonna be like it was in 2008.
Yeah. Like
when Manly beat Melbourne 40-0. And to be honest with you, mate, it reminded me of the 2001 Grand Final tonight, where Newcastle beat Parramatta 30-24. Where
similar situation.
It was a very similar. Penrith best team all year, a bit like Parramatta were in 2001.
Yeah,
and
all year.
Newcastle ambushed them in the first half.
Yeah.
And Melbourne pretty much did the same thing. Very similar to 2001, in my opinion. But second half, off the scrum, Ryan Pappenhausen, he runs about 80 metres, scores the try for the Storm. At this point, I think it's 26-0, is it? Yeah, it's not looking good for Penrith. And then the big call, the bullshit decision, the Isaiah Yeo kick for Brian Toto.
Yeah, he ran rough.
How was this a try? It was a
they called the other try no try because of an obstruction, and that's a try.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they called the Mansell one earlier. Bunker was cooked.
What are they doing up there?
I mean, if you watch the commentary on Channel 9, Joey Johns and Gus were fuming about it. The Brian Toto try should have been disallowed. It was a blatant obstruction. The NRL bunker went into their own fucking mate. I'm sure the bunker, well, it was 26-0. The bunker probably had a few drinks. Maybe they were drunk. I don't know. But they had no idea what they were doing.
Something was going on.
It was ridiculous. Something happened up there. So anyway, Toto scores. Cleary kicks it from the sideline. It's 26 points to 6. We're still thinking Melbourne at home, aren't we?
Easily.
And then
another 2, maybe.
Couple minutes later, who scored the next try? I wrote it down here. Stephen Crichton on Brenko Lee. Pretty much carved him up by himself. Scored 26-12. Cleary kicks the goal. 26-12 Melbourne. About 10 minutes to go. My brother and my dad are sitting there going, Penrith are coming. They're a chance. I'm still not convinced. Anyway, so what happened then? Josh Mansour in the corner. Then I start getting excited.
Yeah.
Mansour gets one in the corner. It's 26-16. Cleary,
they have momentum.
They had all the momentum. Cleary missed
Forwards are doing really well.
Cleary missed the conversion. And with about 10 seconds to go, Cleary runs a line, goes straight through, reaches out and scores. Good effort. Done nothing all game until then. Refuses to kick. It's 26 points to 20. And there's 2 players in the sin bin for Melbourne. Well, Jerome Hughes got sin bin. Now let's talk about that real quick. The Jerome Hughes sin bin on Viliami kick-out was a really tough call. I mean, Jerome Hughes apparently ran off his line. I thought it was a tough call, me personally.
Yeah, no, it was a tough call.
I'm happy with a penalty, but I don't agree with the sin bin. Sin bin was a really tough call. And then the other sin bin, who got sin bin last? Was it? Who got sin bin at the end? When
Brendan Smith, Josh Mansour
Brendan
came
Smith,
up and
yeah,
pushed him in the back.
Brendan Smith was going off the field. Mansour just pushed him.
Bad sport.
That was a pretty low thing. So anyway, Cleary scores. 10 seconds to go. He refuses to kick. It is 26-20 Melbourne.
13 on 12.
13 on 12, and we're thinking to ourselves, fuck. And when the Panthers started throwing the ball around like Hail Mary style, when Jerome Luai got the ball and ran, I thought, oh, here we go, it's on.
I reckon he should have kept going because they had the overlap.
Yeah, they did have the overlap. He came back on the inside. Addo-Carr's speed was just a little bit too electric there, but Penrith, they hang on. I mean, Melbourne win. They hang on. They have won the premiership. Cameron Smith wins his 3rd grand final.
The GOAT.
If he wasn't stripped of those 2 grand finals in 07 and 09, he would have 5 premierships, but because of the salary cap, he's won a grand final now. He's won 3 premierships, 2012, 2017, and 2020.
Yeah.
He is the greatest player that I've ever seen, in my opinion. I can't split Smith and Thurston. They're the 2 best I've ever seen. I can't split them. I think Smith's probably got the edge on Thurston, but it's all comparable. But I thought the match was great. Ryan Pappenhausen won the Clive Churchill medal. I thought it was well deserved. Had a blinder. Now, if you watched my tip-in video on Tuesday, I said Ryan Pappenhausen will win the Clive Churchill medal. So I got that prediction right. I'm very pleased about it. I got the first try scorer tonight with Justin Olam. I had a multi with Melbourne to win, Pappenhausen to score. So I racked up about $200 tonight, but sadly I won't get the money straight away because I don't have a Ladbrokes account card, so I'll wait 2 days for it to go in. So look forward to that $200. But Melbourne, just a little bit too good for the Panthers.
The experience was too much for the young Panthers.
The Panthers were definitely in the game. Now, I don't agree with some of the decisions tonight. There were some tough calls. Melbourne had a couple of dodgy calls go their way, and so did Penrith. But I don't want to be complaining about the referee tonight. Melbourne were the better team. They deserved the grand final. Let's talk about some of the players tonight. Now, I want to say this before I let you get into some of the Panthers players. Nathan Cleary was fucking shit. He's had a great season. Lupus and stitches over there. Nathan Cleary, right? I apologise to this bloke when they beat the Roosters.
You shouldn't have.
I apologise to Cleary.
Take it back. Come on, take it back.
He was fucking pathetic tonight.
Shit, worse than Mitchell Moses.
The biggest game of his career. I understand he's a 22-year-old man. He's got a big future ahead of him. He's a great young kid. But he fucking failed tonight. The pressure was on and he crumbled. First half, he was a fucking statue. He reminded me of the fucking referees all year. A fucking statue. Second half, he was a bit better.
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary's performance tonight is going to get a 2 out of 10.
Oh.
2 out of 10. He did nothing until that fucking try that he scored, which was a pretty soft try, I might add. But my God, if you've been following the channel since I started, I've never liked Nathan Cleary. Never liked the bloke. I apologised to him when he smashed the Roosters all by himself. 3 tries. Brilliant performance. He was decent against Souths last week. Tonight's the grand final. He's played Origin. When he played Origin, he did fuck all. And tonight was the biggest game of his young career, and he did fuck all. So I saw him after the game there. He was crying. He was upset.
Hugging his dad.
Fair enough. But fuck me. The game's on the line. You're supposed to be the game manager. You're supposed to lead this team to a premiership. You led your team to failure again. Nathan Cleary, I may give him some sympathy because he wasn't the only player that didn't have a bad game. Jerome Luai was very quiet as well. Yeah. Coruscant didn't do a whole lot. Now, I know people might think...
Kick-out was great, though.
People might be saying, oh, you fucking arsehole, why are you shitting on Cleary? I have a personal vendetta against this bloke for about 2 years. So, you know, of course I'm going to be critical of Cleary. He's been great all year. You can't be great all year and then go missing in the grand final. For fuck's sake, do something. He just went, oh, I'm just going to get the ball back under the Liam Martin tonight. You fucking statue. Now, I don't want people to get upset and unsubscribe because of my hate towards Cleary, but he was pathetic tonight. But I thought the Panthers' best player, the 2 best players of Penrith, in my opinion, were Dylan Edwards and Isaiah Yeo. They were the only 2 that really had a go, in my opinion. Crichton was okay in periods.
I thought Kick-out was good, but he made a few errors.
Kick-out for mine was like a 5 out of 10. He had a mixed bag. But, you know, the Panthers, the slow start cost them the game. The slow start cost them. Not the referees. The referees didn't cost Penrith the game, people out there. They were beaten by a fantastic Melbourne club who have been the best team the last 15 years. They may not have won the last 15 years, but they just dominate the whole season and they do so much.
They're too good.
They're
all class. Cameron Smith is a go.
They're the best running club in the game and they deserve everything that goes to them because they're unbelievable. Now, for Melbourne, they're great players tonight. Ryan Pappenhausen, brilliant. Josh Adokar was very quiet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Justin Olam was okay.
Second, they went to the left side.
Yeah, they kept going to the right side. I thought Jerome Hughes played very well. I thought he was exceptional. I thought Felice Kafusi was solid.
Yeah.
That bench, my God, how good is Dale Finucane? What a machine.
Especially off the bench, he just brings...
Tino Fasalamawi. He wasn't too bad. Melbourne were just... They deserved to win the premiership. I thought Munster was solid. He wasn't amazing, but he was solid. But Cameron Smith was outstanding as usual. But I'm going to give the Panthers' performance tonight a 5 out of 10. Only because the second half was great and they nearly got the game to Golden Point. They did well to come back because, to be fair, down 26-0, most teams would have thrown their record and got beat by 40. But yeah, exactly. Good effort for Penrith to come back. But Cleary did nothing.
I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. But yeah, 6 is fair. Now, my top 3 on ground for the grand final. I'm going to go number 3. I'm going to go with Jerome Hughes. I thought he was outstanding. Number 2 is going to go to the great man himself, the future immortal, the best of all time, Cameron Smith. And number 1, Ryan Pappenhausen. Club chose for a medal, well deserved. Who's your top 3, mate?
You know what? 3, Christian Welsh.
Yeah, he was solid as well,
2, Cameron Smith, and then 1, Pappenhausen.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, my friend. But I wouldn't say it was a fantastic grand final. The first half was very boring because it was very one-sided. Second half was a very entertaining game, but well-deserved to the Melbourne Storm. Congratulations to the Melbourne Storm on winning another grand final. The 2020 NRL grand final was theirs. Penrith, I have no doubt they'll be a good team in the coming years. Good young side. They just weren't able to live up to the hype tonight, which is disappointing. But
they're a young team.
They're a young team. They'll be back. And I think, you know, with Origin coming up in 10 days, with Nathan Cleary's performance tonight and how poor he was, I know one game doesn't define a season, but he was very shuttered after the game. Is he going to be mentally okay for Origin 1? That's what I want to know right now. So don't be surprised if he doesn't play because it's going to be hard to get over that because losing the grand final, it's not easy to get over. I mean, you know, it can be very hard for some players. So he looked very upset after the game still. Like I know when the presentation was on, he kept looking down, very upset. So I don't know if he's going to be okay for Origin. Hopefully he is, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up the grand final review for 2020. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everyone who watched the channel. Well done to Melbourne and Penrith. And I also got to mention real quick, the giveaway. No one won the giveaway. No one got the halftime score correct. No one got the full-time score correct. I can't believe no one won the giveaway, but I'll be doing a huge giveaway for State of Origin, so look forward to that. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Me and Lufa, we're getting out of here. It's now 10:30. I got work at 10 a.m. I think Lufa's got the day off, don't you, mate? Day off, so I'm sure you might be able to go and rest up. But we're out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support.
Go the Eagles.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great night, and well done to the Storm.